Alicia Curry here, your red carpet CEO, and I'm here to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you with audacious confidence. Woohoo! So you can live more, do more, have more, and really live the life of your dreams without limits or restrictions. And I am here today with another episode of Audacious Confidence. On this episode, I'm going to have a really, really exciting guest with me. I know all my guests are amazing. I say they're all amazing, and they are. And today, we are talking about confidence in business. I mean, what happens really when something doesn't go the way you want it to, or you suddenly discovered, I'm in the wrong business? What do you do? How does that affect your confidence, and how can you rebound from that? So stay tuned for Dr. Tracy Timberlake coming up shortly as we dive into confidence, the subject of audacious confidence in business. I am going to jump right in now. I think I've done all the housekeeping that I needed to do, and I'm going to jump into what I like to give you before I bring my guests on is my perspective of confidence in business. And so anytime we have a new topic, a new guest, I always want to give you my perspective, because a little bit of my story is that I had a lot of confidence issues. I had low self-esteem. I really wasn't all that. Thank you. Is that Ashley Powell? I do say sometimes, dyslexia. Sometimes I mix letters up a little bit, but Ashley Powell, come on to the room. Come on and join us. You're being tagged to join us here by Nisha. So I had a lot of challenges, and people watch me now and they say, there's no possible way that you could have been going through what I went through. There's no way that you were struggling with your confidence. I don't believe it. I don't see it. But I'm here to tell you that I did. I had major, major limiting beliefs. Oh, you're in the hospital? Alicia, get well soon, please, my love. Thank you for chiming in from your hospital bed. Mwah. So please get well. I'll chat with you tomorrow, dear. Um, but I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I had a lot of challenges in business, and I have just 3 tips to just share with you before I jump in with my interview with Dr. Tracy. And I found out, I've discovered for myself in the course of the last 6 years or so, that these 3 things really, really helped me develop my confidence, especially when it came to business and life in general. So number 1 for me was knowing yourself, knowing who you are. Really, a lot of us don't really dig deep enough to find out who we are. We live on the surface of our lives, and we don't really get to know who we are. We're told from a child who we are, what we do, how we do things, and we develop this belief system that is who I am, without really digging deep and saying, well, do I really know who I am? Do I really like peas? I mean, really? Or was I just told that I have to like it, and so I just ate it because I knew I had to like it? So that's number 1. Know yourself, and know yourself in business. Know how you are in business situations. So that's part of knowing yourself. Number 2 is know your craft. Know what you do. Really develop a mastery in what you do. And how you know what you do, how you develop that in your craft is A, I don't want to confuse you with numbers, but A is knowledge. Gather knowledge about the field you're in, the business you're in, the industry you're in. 2, training. Get trained. Learn what it is you need to be doing. I said 2, right? I meant B. I'm trying not to confuse you, and I'm confusing myself. Listen, it's not rocket science, as you can see. So A is knowledge. B is training. C is practice. Practice. You know, it says that you need 10,000 hours. I don't remember where I heard that, but 10,000 hours to master something. So you need to put in the practice, put in the time, put in the energy, put in the effort. Practice, practice, practice. And then D is experimentation. A lot of times we learn to do things one way because that's how we're taught how to do it. But give yourself the freedom and the opportunity to experiment within your craft. Experiment with things. And I recently had this opportunity to experiment with things. And some of you who are on my Facebook page that commented, thank you so very much for all the great, great feedback on what I did. But you could go to my Facebook personal page, Alicia Curry, and check it out. But I had an opportunity. So I'm cast in this movie, and I'm playing someone who was beaten and battered. And we went through several different makeup artists to try to get the look right. And finally, I told the director, let me try. You know, I'm a makeup artist, but I'm a beauty makeup artist. I'm not a special effects makeup artist, but let me give it a shot. And I know color theory, and if I can cover a bruise, surely I can make a bruise. So I did the bruising myself, and it's like, you know, experimentation. I'm like, I understand the technique, I understand the mechanics, I understand, you know, the colors and what needs to be in it. And so I did it myself, and I think I did a pretty good job. So yay. One is knowledge, two is know your craft, and the third thing is the willingness to try anything. The willingness, you know, sometimes we're not brave enough. We don't want to take enough risks. And I know sometimes that's who we innately are, not big risk takers. But what's the worst that can happen sometimes? Okay, not in surgery. Okay, if you're in surgery, I'm not telling you take a risk. I'm not telling you, you know who you are, know your craft, know your profession. But if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're an author, a speaker, in this arena of entrepreneurship, take a risk. Ask somebody a question. You know, step out of your comfort zone a little bit. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, you get a little egg on your face, you get your pride is wounded a little bit, you get embarrassed, but then learn to laugh about yourself about it, you know? So what? It didn't work out. You learned something, and then take that as a learning lesson and move forward. So those are my 3 tips to gaining confidence in business. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have anything to add to that. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to now, of course, introduce my amazing, amazing, wonderful, spectacular guest. I met Tracy Timberlake a couple years ago. She was doing, I think we were both speaking at Venture Cafe, but she was doing the bulk of the presentation, and I just like threw in my little 2 cents. but I love this woman. She just, everything she does is top notch. Everything she does with such audacity, such courage, such tenacity. And she is the sweetest, sweetest, sweetest person. And I am so thankful to have her in my network, so thankful to call her a friend. And she is a business coach, digital strategist, and social media influencer. And after a while in her own life, feeling like she was living someone else's life, which I understand that too. I so understand that. She decided to step out kind of coincidentally. It wasn't intentionally. She did a YouTube video. She did a little YouTube video and then found a niche on YouTube, online, on social media, and then really grew her business. Her business evolved from that, taking that step into now this amazing, which we're going to talk about, where she's an award-winning business coach and digital strategist. So I would like to welcome to the show, Dr. Tracy Timberlake. Yay! Tell Dr. Timberlake.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me. This is wonderful. I love this conversation.
Yes, and we had you on a show on Germaniac TV before, so people can always go to
Right.
germaniac.com/Tracy and view the other show that we had because we you were
Yeah.
on Women Unleashed, and I know you'll be on another show here on Germaniac TV as well because we love having you here. You
My
are
Germaniac family.
yes, your Germaniac family, absolutely. And I just want to remind everybody one more time, come to Germaniac TV on Facebook so that we can see your comments and interact with you. So yes. So
Yes.
tell me about your journey a little bit from the perspective of confidence. So you felt you were living someone else's life,
Right.
working for someone else. And
Mhm.
take me through, in about 2 to 3 minutes, just take me through that process that you went through.
It's one of those things that honestly I can go back to being very, very young and thinking that, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to do something really, really awesome with my life. And I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that it would be impactful. I knew that it would be huge. I knew that it would be different. But I think as you grow up, like you said, somebody tells you to like peas. Hey, Nisha. Somebody tells you to like peas, and all of a sudden you like peas. And so I think that growing up, you learn what is quote unquote acceptable in society, and then you
Absolutely.
start to adopt a little bit for yourself because you don't have any other examples. Like you just think that's just the way life should be. But in doing that, the truth of the matter is that I would find myself in positions, great jobs, great work that was really meaningful. I mean, I work for a nonprofit, I work for in higher ed, but would still kind of find myself in that position of going, this is not my life. This is not my life. Like I know that there is something else out there.
You weren't
And
fulfilled. And I think
right,
part of what I was saying is know yourself is on the outside looks great, but in deep inside of you is something gnawing at you like, oh, this is not it.
right. And so I think having the confidence to even, first of all, admit that that's a thing and to say, oh, like this is not enough for me. I think a lot of the time, especially as women, we put ourselves in a box because we don't allow ourselves to even have that thought. We feel guilty because we think, oh, but this is a good job and it's an okay life. And, I have good things. Like I should be just really happy. I should be content with being here. And we don't allow ourselves to say, no, actually, there's more to this. And so I think having the confidence to do that and to really stand up for yourself in that way really is the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that because when you start uncovering, because you have to first feel that feeling
Mm-hmm.
and then have the courage to step out and say, what is this feeling I'm feeling? And then the next step to that is how do I even start? What do I so you've admitted it to yourself that there is a feeling and
Yeah.
you've honored, for a long time I didn't honor that feeling.
Mm.
I kept pushing it away and saying, you know, this is not for me, or I can't do this, or I have all these other responsibilities. So that, you make all these excuses which become limiting beliefs because you
Right.
really don't believe in yourself that
Right.
you can.
Right. That's
And
100% true.
right, so that you have to recognize what that gnawing feeling is. Not everybody has it. So I'm not saying that you have to
Right.
feel guilty for not even having it.
Right. Right. But there are people that do. And
But
if
there are
you
people that
do,
do. Because
right.
it's like motherhood. It's like there are so many people who are not mothers, and then they're made to feel shamed that
Mm-hmm.
they never wanted they didn't have that desire to be a mom.
That's a good
or
point.
or moms who want to work and be a mother are shamed because they want to
Mm-hmm.
have a career and be a mom. And
Right.
so we have to get out of this sort of it really damages people's confidence when you put them in that kind of box and say, well, no, you can't do that. Or they just
Right.
feel the pressure of society that says no, they can't do that. So once you start recognizing that within yourself, then what was the next step you took?
So the next step was I allowed myself to do a little bit of exploration. And I can remember leaving one particular job. I was living in the Midwest at the time because I was working for a nonprofit, and I left and I loved the job. And I was even sad. Like I would cry that I was leaving this job because I really loved the job. I just knew that there was something else. And people would ask me, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, well, guess I'll just go chase some dreams or whatever that is, whatever that looks like. I think just giving myself the permission to explore something else. I think when you open yourself up and allow yourself to do that, then other things can kind of come into your peripheral. But if you don't, and you keep trying to suppress the desire or suppress even the thought of a desire, then you can't experience all the new things that life can bring.
And I believe also that when you leave something that seems so good, people are scared for you.
They are
really scared for you. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to live? And you're not, you feel exhilarated. It's like, it's a whole new opportunity. And that's why I said, not everybody feels that feeling, because they are very happy where they are. And I'm not saying everybody has to have this feeling. They're very happy where they are. But you wanted more. And one of the challenges in doing that is, do I listen to them or do I chase what's in my heart and experiment? I talked about experimentation, about really exploring who you are and what you're able to do, because then you're able to understand that you have so much potential and so many gifts and talents. And so let's talk about sitting on the bathroom floor doing your video.
Sure.
Because that was probably not even something that you thought, oh, you know what? I'm a talented speaker and I'm really good on camera. And so let me make a video.
Not at all. But I will say this. I know a lot of you guys are watching on other pages. Hey, if you are on my page, I need you to come over to this page because I want to hear from you, because I know a lot of the people that follow me have the same experience where they feel like they're just stuck and they don't know what's next. So I would love to hear from you. I think both Alicia and I would love to hear from you. So come on over to Germaniac TV, comment, because we can't see the comments unless you're over here. So make sure that you come over here so we can see the comments, because I want to hear from you. But yeah, so sitting on the bathroom floor, it was kind of just a spur of the moment thing. So that's really one thing that I know about myself, and I've known it all along, is that when I want to do something, if I wait too long, it's not happening. So I have to just kind of jump. So when
know yourself.
Know thyself. It's very important.
Know thyself. It's so important.
Yeah. And so making that quick action. So I just decided one day, you know what, I'm going to make a YouTube video about this particular thing. It was about a flat iron. People were asking what I was using anyway. And I'm just doing it right now. Like, no preparation. Because a lot of times people can get into that. Like, well, I don't have the right camera and I don't have the lights and I don't have the, listen. Right. And if you think about all that stuff and this
perfectionism, you get stuck in the perfectionism of it.
Right. And when you get stuck in the perfectionism, there's a lot of things that don't get done. So you have to just, and I tell my clients this all the time, you got to launch ugly, whatever launching looks like for you.
Germaniac TV.
Yeah, you launch ugly. Everything, all systems are not going to be up and running right away, but you're not going to know what systems you need until you get started. So I just sat down and I recorded it, and I was like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And you put it up on YouTube and you realize, oh, there are actually people that are watching this. And then one video becomes another and then another and another. And it turned into something that was really fun. And I had like my own little fun community on YouTube. And it was really great. And I loved it. But that's how it began, is just making a decision to do something.
Make the decision to do it.
And I will say this, because when I started my YouTube channel, no one was making money on YouTube. Everybody was kind of just doing it for fun. Sometimes you don't know what is the thing that's going to be the thing. But if you get an inspired something, like some inspiration, a divine download, whatever it is, you have to take action right away. Like, don't sit on it and wait, because that thing could be the catalyst to take you to your big thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I love what you're saying. And the other thing I want to add to that actually is a quote by Napoleon Hill, where he talks about the sly disguise of opportunity, where a lot of people see it coming as misfortune. Raina, we say, yes, thank you, Raina. So the sly disguise of opportunity. Sometimes, you chose to leave your field. Can we see your comment now? Yes, Lori, we can.
Yes, hi,
Thank you, Lori.
Hi, Lori. Hi, Raina.
So you chose to leave your job. Let me see what Nisha is saying. I was just asking other industry peers today, how do you deal with feeling like you're totally capable of doing things? Up until that moment, someone asked about your purchasing your services, you feel afraid. It's like, whoa, how do I help them? Yep. And you know what, Nisha, sometimes you don't know that you can help them because you just have to take that leap.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take the chance and sell your services. And believe me, sometimes when you sell that service, you step up to the plate. You do. And it's always great. I don't know if Tracy believes in this too, but if you have a money back guarantee, because if through the process you realize, you know what, I really think you need someone else than me, have an opportunity to give them part of the money back or something so that both of you feel like you've left that in integrity because you gave of yourself and they also purchased, but have a way that you can still exit a situation in integrity and leave satisfied. I don't know how you feel about that, Tracy.
Well, I don't offer a money back guarantee on my services because I'm going to come to the table. So I don't work with somebody one-on-one unless I know that I can, so if I have a conversation with someone and I feel like, because usually there's an initial
strategy session. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's initial.
And so I'll say, this is what you're looking for. This is what we're going to do. And I can pretty much intuitively tap in to say like, okay, this is something that I can help you with. These are the things that I'm going to promise you to do. I also have a client agreement in place that says this is what you are going to do, so that we are both very clear on what it is we're both bringing to the table, so that we can accomplish a goal that you're setting out for yourself. So I don't offer a money back guarantee in that regard. But if I get on a strategy session with somebody or a free consult and I say, you know what, I don't think that this is the right move for you, I'm very honest, because I'm not out here to take people's money, which would be very easy because there's a lot of people that just want to throw money at me, which is great. But if this is not a good fit both for me and for you, then I'm not doing it because I'm going to be the one frustrated. So yes, I will. And it's fine because I can say, I don't think you're ready for this, both mentally or financially or whatever the case is. So here are some other alternatives. And I'm happy to give it. But that's also why I create so much free content, is because not everybody's ready for the kind of work that I do and the kind of results that it brings. So there are smaller containers that are available.
That's wonderful. And that's part of knowing yourself too, because intuitively how you can tap into that. And some people aren't there yet. Mm-hmm. Some people just aren't there yet, and they're just starting off and they're nervous about asking because I think Nisha is asking about pricing, and they still feel that kind of trepidation about.
I think that's such a confidence question too when it comes to the pricing situation, because
that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, because you have to be confident in your prices. And what I tell people is, when money is exchanged, it's a whole different ballgame now, right? That's what makes you nervous. Is, oh my God, because you do it for free and be like, oh, I can do
all
this.
Day long.
I'm totally confident, right? The minute the money exchanges hands is the minute that you're like, oh my God, somebody's going to pay me for this. So maybe that'll be something that we talk about.
All right. So Raina says, I met you in June, Dr. T. I won the Flourish experience, and I'm so blessed ever since. You say yes.
Yes.
Trust the process. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I was going to talk about Karen, counting down to letting go of my investor.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So I was mentioning before, you left your job to pursue whatever this is that you had this desire to pursue. Mm-hmm. And some people, they may have gotten fired, or they may have been downsized, or some situation like that may have happened, but they had that burning desire inside of them anyway. Mm-hmm. And Napoleon Hill says it's a sly disguise of opportunity, which may come in the form of misfortune. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you have to look around you and see, what else is out there for me? Right. Where can I expand? What can I do now that I have this opportunity in front of me? It's not like, oh my God, I just lost my job and what am I going to do? And no, it's like, now what can I do? Right. What can I do? What opportunity is out there for me? Right. So, So earlier you said, just start. It could be ugly. So Nisha said it. So it boils down to touching that during the discovery call to know if you're both a fit for each other. That is correct. That is what I do as well. I make sure that during the discovery call, we figure out what we're doing. Let me see. Lori says, I think it's about more so investing in yourself than the option of the opinion of others. Once you're true to yourself, there is nothing that will hold you back from achieving your dreams. This fact has taken me so long to learn, and I have given up so many chances to invest in myself. Not anymore. Wonderful, Lori. That is amazing. That was one of my first tips is know yourself. Invest in yourself, know yourself. And so what was I going to say coming back to this now? We were talking about before we left for the break, Tracy, we were talking about, now I'm trying to go back to knowing who you are. Oh, more comments are coming in. Tracy, I think you're muted. I'm not sure. Coming to Flourish, Dr. T has opened doors. I can't wait to work with you. And saying yes back in June, open doors like radio show, cosmetics line, branding, funding. Oh, wow, that's amazing. You got rid of your investor. Did you, Tracy? I think that's what Karen is saying. You got rid of your investor.
Yes, the job.
Yes,
because I mean, really, your investor is your 9 to 5 for a bit.
Your 9 to 5, yeah.
Right.
Yay. Oh, yes, thank you, Karen. That actually reminded me, we were talking about the sly disguise of opportunity. Look at opportunity from all different angles. And investing in yourself is one of those opportunities.
Yeah.
That is one of those great opportunities that people don't see. They always think, well, I can't spend money on this and I can't spend money on that. Can we talk about that from a confidence point of view?
Sure. Well, I think, first of all, I think people have a very skewed understanding of money. And I do so many trainings on money. I do so many talks on money. I speak at so many different conferences about money because that's really where the big hiccup is for a lot of people. The reason why they don't move forward in whatever dream they have or desire they have is because of money. They think, people allow money to be a stop sign. And that's one of the things that I'm such an advocate for is don't. Because if you keep telling yourself you can't do something because you don't have money, you're creating a neural pathway in your brain that says every time I want something, I can't have it because I don't have money. Money is a concept. Money is not a real thing. So you have to really understand how to tap into the frequency of money so that you can create money on demand. There's a flow of money. There's a currency. That's why it's called currency for a reason. And if you understand the metaphysics of what that looks like, you'll know how to create more money. And money is very easy. Like there's no magic to it other than you have to believe that it's easy for you. And the investment part, it's totally a mindset. And people, we also judge the source of where the money is going to come from. I have so many people that come to me and they say, well, I don't have the money. I don't have the money in my bank account. Well, it's very rare that you're going to just have, if you don't understand the concept, right? But there are other ways that you could get that. If you have to borrow it, if from a parent, from a mom, from an uncle, from a credit card, but we judge that and say, oh, I'm going to get into debt. But if you understand how to build wealth, and every wealthy person that I know, every millionaire, billionaire person that I know personally uses other people's money in order to build wealth. No one is out there using their own money to make more money. No one does that. Right. But it's a concept that we have created, especially in the minority community. We think that we have to do it all when the truth is that's I don't know where that misconception comes from, but understand the flow of money. I have a whole free training on money. It's 3 days of money mindset training. It is free. Please understand how money works so that you can make more of it. But you have to understand it first, because people, if you're not in alignment with money, then it's never going to come. And if you're always focused, if you're making decisions from lack, I don't have this, so I can't make that decision. And that's the premise. That's the foundational piece of where you're starting your business. You're not ready. You're not ready to start a business if that's always what you're thinking, because you don't have the mindset that is attached to what it looks like for money to flow into your life.
Yes. And Raina, I wanted to finish what I was saying about Raina, that she was saying to invest in yourself. And it's so true. And so many more opportunities came to her when she started investing in herself. I think that was the general gist of what she said. And so, that she's been so blessed to have met you, and she can't wait for 2020.
I can't do that. Well, so, it's very true.
So thank you, Raina, for that. It is important to invest in yourself. And have to understand, and I love that you have all these free trainings because you do. Where can we want to link them to all your free content as well at the end, okay?
Yep.
Remind me to make sure we get that out.
Hey, live people. Hi, livers.
Hi, Angelica. Thank you for joining us. But so many people, like you said, they don't have the right concept. They don't have the right mindset about how money flows and what money is. And so their confidence is stunted because they don't understand how to use money correctly.
Right.
Mona says, hey, Dr. TT.
Hey, Mona, my fabulous, fierce Mona.
No money back, Jack.
Hi, Deepa. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you for all these comments. We love it, love it, love it. So now we went through you getting on the floor with your curling iron, and one thing led to another, and then suddenly
there's a comment. I want to address the comment that Angelica says, but the free money is a very American concept. Hopefully somebody can put that up on the screen. In Europe, where I live now, it's not like that. And I want to address that because I think that, okay, thank you. Because I think that this is a good point. First of all, we think it's an American concept. It's not, because the majority of the people in America don't think that way. You know, money is accessible in America, I would say, more so than any other place, but people still don't realize how free it is. But just because your environment says that it's not like that, or that's not how it should be done, does not mean that you blindly follow that. So you can make a different choice. It is available to you. Any choice is available, right? And this is for all people. So if you grew up in a family where everybody was, you know, a 9-to-5 person, right, and you didn't know any entrepreneurs, you can still make a different choice, because we live in 2019 and there are opportunities that are available for us, but we have to be the one. Sometimes in our family, in our environment, in our community, we have to go first in order to be that example for other people. So don't let what is happening in your external circumstance, situation, and appearance be the thing that causes you not to move forward because everyone else isn't doing it. That's actually a good thing. You get to be a leader.
You get to be a leader. You get to be a change maker. You get to disrupt, be a disruptor. So Dayanara Torres says, I am revamping again. Yay! You know,
you have a very famous name.
Go again.
She has a very famous name.
Dayanara?
Yeah, Dayanara Torres was I think she was like a Miss Universe, like a Miss Puerto Rico back in the 90s.
So say yes to investing in yourself. But Dayanara, thank you so much. Yes, part-time to get your dreams going. Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we love that. So now let's go into Facebook, YouTube, sorry. Everything started to change with YouTube. People started getting paid. But what did you notice happening as YouTube started to, you know, the sponsorships and those types of things started coming in?
Sure. I think it was exhausting. It was an exhausting experience because YouTube payouts were getting lower and lower. Sponsorships were becoming fewer and far between because more people were willing to do things for free. And so I decided, you know, something does have to change. This cannot be the, you know, like what I wanted it to be. And I don't foresee it moving forward. It's actually moving backward. And so it was almost like the instant that I said something's got to change, like, and make the decision, something has to change, that more opportunity started to present itself in the form of what was available to me online and this whole online entrepreneurship kind of world. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's the thing. We don't know what's out there for us until we start exploring and experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finding your niche and saying, oh, I love that. Let me jump into that.
Exactly. But I think, again, you have to have the confidence, at least enough to say, I want something different. And that is okay, because then it's in your awareness, then it's in your consciousness, and you get to look at opportunities. It's like looking through like a magazine. Oh, I like that, like a catalog. Oh, I like this. No, I don't like that. No, yeah, I like that, you know, and you just kind of are flipping through all of the opportunities that are available because there are so many.
So many. And you can create your own.
You can.
You can create your own. That's what Dreamaniac TV is all about. Dream big, make it happen. I mean, we didn't know that this platform existed until we decided to create it. And then we created something out of something that was existing, that's something all our own.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, people don't understand what has to, Like for you to be alive at this point in time, for all of these tools to have existed and or to have been made in this point in time, like everything is aligning itself for you to make moves. Right.
Yeah.
If you're not making moves, well, whose responsibility is that? Because Facebook is free. BeLive.tv is free. YouTube is free. Like Instagram is free. All these free platforms that you're able to use to get your message out there, to start marketing yourself. If we're not capitalizing on it, then that's something that we have to look at within ourselves.
Yes. Yes. So I have a comment here from Shalonda that says, hey, Dr. TT, the free content opened my eyes, but platform is a whole different level. So glad that I invested in myself. Yes, you can live off of free for so long.
Yes.
You can live off of free content for so long, but when you're ready to get serious, it's time to invest.
It's time.
It's time to invest. I wanted to, I do these career day talks in different schools, different elementary schools. This is the season for it, starting now. And one of the things I talk about is that the option as an entrepreneur, because I talk about entrepreneurship, and the option to really create anything in this country.
Yeah.
Really create anything. And I talk about this guy that I heard about who, when they started with fantasy football, like 10 years ago, however long ago it was, with fantasy, when it started really catching on, he was doing insurance, like regular house insurance or whatever. He decided to start insuring people's fantasy football players against injury throughout the season.
Wow.
He became a he became a multimillionaire because he jumped into something that nobody else was doing, created a business all of his own in the insurance industry. I don't even know how he was able to do that, but he started insuring players in fantasy leagues against injury so that you don't lose your shirt when you're paying for it.
That's amazing.
Wow. So let your creativity fly, let your creativity, your imagination, let it go. Let it go. This is the time to dream big. This is the time to dream big.
It is, because there's so many things that are, like I said, there's so many resources, there's so many tools that have been created.
So much free content.
Right, just for you. Like you can get started. Yes, you can. We always are going to encourage the investment, but sometimes in the beginning, that investment is time. Like, are you willing to put in the time to even use the free stuff? Because if you can't use the free stuff and you're not willing to do that, then you can pay. You can pay $100,000. If you're not willing to invest time, it's still not going to work.
It's not going to do you any good. It's going to sit in a box. So, one of the things Germaniac TV started off, Sebastian and I started off with just our own personal network of people, just a few thousand people between the two of us. And it has grown to over 200,000 in 3 months, a network of over 208,000 as he has it crawling across on the screen. And so we just jumped in and started and showed people how the process was messy. It was messy at the beginning. We didn't know what we were doing. But again, the confidence we had in ourselves, that was the foundation. Yeah. That we developed that confidence within ourselves. And please take the time to do that. Take the time to develop the confidence in yourself. Now, you gave us a quote that confidence comes from mastery. Yeah. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Sure. I think that sometimes we don't have the confidence because we don't have evidence that it's going to work. So we're afraid that it's not going to work because we haven't actually tried it. So what I tell clients is I say confidence comes from mastery. If you can master your craft, and you brought up the quote by Malcolm Gladwell earlier, or the statistic by Malcolm Gladwell, who says that it takes 10,000 hours to be considered an expert in something. Right. That is mastery. Like if you spend 10,000 hours doing something, you have mastered a skill, and you're probably pretty daggone confident in that skill because you've invested so much time and energy and resource into it. So the more that you hone your skill, and if let's say you're starting a consulting business or a coaching business, and you don't think that you can do well, or you don't think that you can help people, do it for free. There's nothing to lose. Somebody can say yes or no, but do it for free because it builds up your confidence. Do it 3 times, 4 times. I knew somebody who did 100 coaching calls because she just for free to people, because she just wanted to make sure that she knew her craft and she studied it by studying people, right? And so if that's what it takes, then you do that. It's just like if somebody starts playing basketball, they're shooting 1,000, free throws every single day, just because they're going to be more confident in their free throws the more they can master what angle do I need to do, how much spin and rotation, how much pressure, how much strength does it take for me to get this ball into the hoop. It's the same thing with any business. You just have to make sure that you're honing your craft and spending time being a forever learner in it so that you can become more confident.
Absolutely. And I think one of the challenges confidence wise too is if you worked a job, stepping out from that to being your own business owner can be daunting. It can be challenging. And so as you're making that transition, your confidence might be a little shaky, or maybe you know yourself enough to say, I got this. I know what I'm doing. But if you're not like that,
I don't know anyone who's like that.
Anytime you step into something new, right? Yeah, anytime you step into something new, there's going to be a little bit of trepidation.
Yeah.
But you have to give yourself the space, give yourself the forgiveness to fail, to mess up, to just. I remember when I first started doing hair and makeup years and years ago. My very first client. Now I had the training. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't do it in business before because I had done makeup for other, I just didn't do it as a business. Like you said earlier about the exchange of money somehow changed.
It changes.
Everything. Changed it. Yeah. And so there was this expectation on myself to get it perfect, and I couldn't do it right. I didn't do it right. And I was so hard on myself because I knew I was driving home and I'm like, damn, I knew I should have done this and I should have done that. And I knew all the things that I should have done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a trial. It wasn't the person's wedding day because I started off in weddings. But that made me do so much more testing. So I went in, and anybody who would sit for me, I would do their face, and people would say, "But you're using up some people would say, but you're using up all your makeup and all your." I'm like, "This is for me, though. This is an investment in me,
right? Because what I'm gaining is the skill.
Something.
Yeah, I'm gaining.
I can go back and buy this product, but if I let it just sit there and I'm not using it to wait for another client to come around,
right?
Another client may never come around.
Right, exactly. No, that's a very good point.
I had to. So that when I go into that situation again, and the person that trained me, she's like, you know what you're doing. You're trained to do this. Don't feel like you don't know what you're doing. I said, it wasn't that I didn't feel like I didn't know what I was doing. But again, I got different faces. I worked on a lot of different types of hair, different types of faces. I bought mannequins so I could work on their hair and all these different textures. And even now, if someone comes to me and they say, I need you to do this, and I've never done it before, I go back into that practice mode. Because for me, practice, so that when you step onto just like what you're saying with the basketball, when you step onto the field of play, nothing can shake you.
Right.
People come at you with something, and it's like, I got this. All right. Yeah, I know. And it may take you a minute to kind of assess the situation, but then you go right into it. So
that's so true.
Confidence. So much confidence in business comes from, if you had to break it down into 3 steps, like I did earlier, what would you kind of encapsulize it?
I would have to say, number 1, you have to decide and you have to trust that decision, right? So step 1 is really to decide and trust the decision. It's like a 2-parter because that's really where you're going to get the first amount of evidence that this is going to work. Like, decide. The second thing is to commit to the decision, because you decide, you're excited for 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, but, and then you start to run through.
The blood just drains from your face.
Yeah, and you're like, but what if that, but what if it's, and I hear it all the time, but what, and I do it too. Let's just be real. There are times where I will do that too. As as much as I am into personal development, these are all things that I've learned because I had to go through them and still do. Because at every point of expansion, you will hit some sort of mindset block, right?
Absolutely.
And then because it's new, and like you said,
we don't have it all together.
It's new, right? But that's kind of, I love that part of the journey for me. Like I really do, because it shows me my limitation and what's the next thing that I need to work on. And then I know I've also have enough evidence to say I know that if I work through this, I'm going to reach my goal. So decide, commit. And then the third thing really is to just do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Take the action steps required.
Take the action.
Right. Like don't sit on it. How long are you willing to wait around for this? Like, how long are you just going to let life continue to pass by? I've had so many people come across my experience. They're like, I wanted to start a business for 7 years. I'm like, 7 years? You know how big your business could be in 7 years? You could be sitting on a yacht somewhere in the middle of the Mediterranean. And when you waited for 7 years, some people 20 years they've wanted to start a business. And I'm like, okay, we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. We're not playing that game. We're going to start today. Today's the day. Let today be the day that you decide and you commit and you actually do what you say you're going to do.
Excellent. I love those tips. I love it, love it, love it. So tell us that other than, of course, germaniac.com/Tracy, where can they get a hold of your free content?
If you go to drtracytimberlake.com/free resources, you will get, I change those out every now and then, but right now I think I have the money training up there, another free course up there as well. So that's where you can go, drtracytimberlake.com/free resources.
Free resources. Excellent. Before we wrap, I wanted to just really quickly talk about your education, because you saw that this whole thing, there's something missing in the YouTube. So what made you decide to go back to school and get your doctorate?
Well, I think I was going back to school already, but then I switched my area of expertise, my area of study, because in the online entrepreneur space, I realized there wasn't a lot of research based on it specifically for women. So what that looked like, and I thought that it was smart to create some empirical evidence that backed up what it was I was doing. If I'm saying that I'm a business coach, well, I'm going to back up my methodology with research and actually test this out. So that's really where that came from.
Excellent. So I love that. And I know a lot of people are afraid to go back to school or afraid to but you were going to school and you had your business. So it's not like you stopped and that, you were doing both at the same time. So
I was doing all the things.
You were doing all the things. Yeah. Dr. Angelica Christie says the primal instinct tries to keep us safe. It's just there to keep us alive. But that's not what our heart and soul want. And that's not what's going to get you money.
Amen. Hi, Christy.
Lori says, she put up the Dr.
It's one, there's no space between free resources. So it's just free resources.
One word.
Yep.
Free
Thank
resources.
you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori. What I've discovered in my journey of confidence is the more you do, the more you do. The more you do, the more opportunity, the more you realize that you can do. Mm-hmm. People tell me all the time, oh my gosh, you're doing so many things. But, when you pigeonhole yourself into this is all I can do, then this is all you can do. But when you open yourself up and start doing things and start being excited about life and excited about your business and excited about going in different avenues for your business, the more you find the ability to do it. So the more you do, the more you do. And I always say to people, God cannot move a stationary object. He cannot direct, a stationary object. He can't direct you in your path if you're sitting stationary. You have to start moving to be directed. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is, like you said, make the decision, trust in the decision, take the action. So you have to start moving, and then you start seeing the avenues and seeing the pitfalls and seeing the things that you need to do and not do. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it.
Well, give me final words, because I'm hearing that we have to wrap.
Final words. 70% of people are unhappy with their life. That is a very bad statistic. It's not something that anyone should be proud of. We're not going to glorify the fact that we hate our jobs. make a decision, change it, because you have opportunity available to you. And if you're watching this, this should be a catalyst. Don't think that you're here by accident just listening to this talk. Like, it should be something that spurs you on. So don't let another day pass by.
70% is huge. Yes. Do something. Don't just sit there for another 7 years saying, oh, I wanted to do this. You know, I hear a lot of people say, oh, you know what? I thought of that invention. Oh, I thought of this thing. I thought of that 20 years ago. I thought of the internet.
Right.
You know, but did you do it? Did you do anything about it?
Correct.
No. Okay. Be quiet. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tracy Timberlake. I know we need to have you back again. This was so informative. This was so much fun. I love having you here on the show. If you want to know more about Dr. Tracy Timberlake, please go to germaniac.com/Tracy. And you can also get a lot of her free resources, but not just the free resources. Go to drtracytimberlake.com and also, you know, find out ways to invest in yourself. So, you know, get on a call with Dr. Tracy and make sure that you are connected to her. So thank you, Tracy. And I'm going to wrap up, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Audacious Confidence. Hey, Alicia here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that episode of the Audacious Confidence Show, check out more of the episodes that we have right there. And don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss another episode of the Audacious Confidence Show.